presentation.
Go crazy! I'm sorry, the intro just gets me every time.
Okay.
PlayStation is arguably the most successful home video game console in the world, with having 5 main consoles sold, a VR system, and even a handheld device. PlayStation will become a household name and a commercial success not only internationally, but more so in North America. People may say that PlayStation is legendary because of its exclusive games and dedicated service to gamers. While those are valid reasons, to me what makes PlayStation legendary besides those things is its presentation, and presentation is everything. What is the first thing you see when you boot up a console? Go ahead, I'll wait. Time's up. It's the intro, or at least it should be. The intro is the single most important aspect to a gaming console as far as presentation go. I mean, it's what you see before the game even starts. While now most gaming consoles, including the PlayStation, go for a quick and less elaborate intro in order to get gamers right into the action, PlayStation back then had some of the best game console intros ever. The PlayStation 2 with its atmospheric, mysterious ambiance. The PlayStation 3 with its orchestra symphony. While these two are awesome, there's none better than the PlayStation 1 intro. Some regard the PlayStation 1 intro as the greatest intro ever. I'm talking about it's up there with the GameCube intro, the original Xbox, and the 360. When you hear it, you can't help but wonder what you're about to experience before you play the game associated with the PlayStation. But why is the PlayStation 1 intro considered legendary? What about it compels so many people to comment about how it makes them cry and even gives them chills when they hear it? Who is the mastermind behind the PlayStation 1 intro? And did its intro play a hand in future PlayStation consoles? So many questions to be answered, and I'll be going over all those things and more in this video right now, so don't go anywhere. Behind every great creation is an even greater mastermind. Sony engineer Ken Kutagari was assigned the task of research and development for the PlayStation in 1990. Due to his contributions, by many he is considered the quote-unquote father of the PlayStation. With that being said, who would be the mastermind behind PlayStation's iconic intro? Because I mean, Ken Kutagari couldn't do everything.
But what does that have to do with me?
No. He's got a point.
Well, this job would be given to sound designer Takafumi Fujisawa. Sorry if I butchered his name. While his name may not be all too familiar and prior to the PlayStation would only have experience in one game named Extra Innings, by no means is he a slouch to sound design. In 2019, senior editor Jeff Cork from Game Informer interviewed Takafumi to get a better perspective behind the creation of the PlayStation 1 intro. I'm not going to go over the whole interview, however I will go over the key questions that were answered that I feel will give you a better understanding behind how Takafumi created this masterpiece. If you're interested, I'll leave a link of the entire interview down in the description. Did the sound come to you fairly quickly, or was it something that took a significant number of iterations? I thought of the structure, selected the tones, and gathered the instruments in 2 weeks. And the studio work was done essentially in 2 days. I kept thinking from the start that I wanted the sound image to be something exciting, like that feeling when you walk into a cinema. I really wanted to communicate and reinforce that something fun is going to happen. All those things included, I think Fujisawa communicated this really well. I mean, do you get a sense of excitement when you hear the PlayStation 1 intro? A sense of wonder? It's not by accident, that's for sure. What were the parameters that you were given? Were you limited to a specific amount of time? There weren't much time restrictions on the design itself. The concept was set to maintain the core image of PlayStation no matter what type of TV it is played on. The only limitation that I experienced was the size of the ROM, so I kept the size as minimal as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, this right here is the definition of resourcefulness. The first PlayStation came out in 1994, so it wasn't like smart TVs with 3D surround stereo existed, but yet the quality of sound was still accomplished. Fuji wanted to make sure the intro sounded crisp, not only on TV audio from 1994, but even now when you hear it on the most modern TVs with advanced audio, it sounds even crispier. Mind you, this was all done on a small ROM. ROM stands for read-only memory. Basically, it's a cartridge built into the console that allows for video games to be loaded and ran on. And PlayStation 1 could only hold a total of 1 megabyte compared to PlayStation's now. Although Fujisawa had a tight window of storage to work with, time was definitely on his side. And I think is one of the main reasons he was able to work around that hurdle. The startup sound almost seems as though it shifts through several phases that tells a story. You have the opening tones, then it has the bells, then the swooshing sound, then an almost ethereal finale. Were you trying to tell a musical story? If so, what was that story in your mind? I express the excitement to the game that begins after this sound by starting the music quietly in order not to scare the user when they turn the power on, and follow it with the sound quality that sounds original and also welcoming. My aim is to lead the sense of security when the console is turned on to the excitement after the C major dominant motion, showing the intention for continuing to be on the mainstream. The rich strings kick in, and the last part features twinkling tones and setting the perfect fourth chords. The function of this sound is to tell the user that the hardware is running like it's supposed to, and that the disc has successfully been read. To add, the swooshing reverse sound is designed so that it can go into loop if the disc couldn't read, and we can understand if something went wrong. I think the last part is interesting because while the PlayStation is booting up, all the sounds and instruments that you hear aren't just there to woo you. They're there to not only distract you from the fact that the PlayStation is loading the game, but they're also there as indications. Indications that the game was loaded successfully or needs a bit more time to do so. In this case, this sound right here will loop if it's having trouble loading. It kind of reminds me when the GameCube disc wouldn't read, so that little cube would just spin and loop around and then send you to the menu. Sound is a great indicator and distraction, and Fujisawa knew this well enough to have used it as an integral piece for the PlayStation. Oh, and about that ethereal finale that was mentioned earlier, you know, sounded like this. I'm almost for certain that you realize that that wasn't there by accident either. Sony is based in Japan, and what you heard at the end, if I'm not mistaken, was a Japanese flute, better known as the shakuhachi. Nothing much there other than Sony paying homage to its country roots, and it's just a nice touch in the grand scheme of things. Understand, this isn't like some one-hit wonder song where the producer was just throwing around some sounds and it just stuck together. No, every instrument and every sound you hear has a purpose. There was a clear direction that Fuji wanted to take, and within these 15 seconds of intro, every sound is used to engage the gamer. Masterpiece. There was a final question asked in this interview that I feel provided a lot of context towards future PlayStation consoles. Did you also work on the startup sound for PlayStation 2 or 3? If you did, do you happen to have any stories about them that you can share? When we went into PlayStation 2, the sound team had grown to a significant size, so I decided to create a concept and we had a team contest. I finalized the final two options and made sure that the perfect fourth chords were emphasized as the key feature of the series. I used the perfect fourth chords with stable harmony to express simple strength and the image of landing somewhere from space. I was focusing on my duties as the development manager by PlayStation 3, so the sound was created by my junior staff. But I think that the concept is great that the sound features the orchestra tuning up to express that something is starting. In much simpler terms, the PlayStation 1 startup absolutely had a hand in the way Sony would create their future PlayStation consoles. With the arrival of the PlayStation 2 and 3, Sony wanted to continue to immerse the gamer in an experience like none other. With the PlayStation 2, you can hear the harmony of the fourth chords. You also get a glimpse into this mysterious world full of tall blocks and fairy-like orbs. Then all of a sudden, you drop into the abyss, only to be reminded that this is a gaming console, not a movie. Fujisawa said that he wanted to give you the image that you were landing somewhere in space. In that case, Fujisawa,
mission accomplished. Good work.
with the PS3, the intro is like you're walking in getting ready to hear an orchestra perform. Being that the PS3 would feature games like God of War 3, Uncharted 3, and The Last of Us, I find it very fitting that the PS3 would have an orchestra themed intro, because what would be presented from the PS3 would be absolute art. This is not only thanks to the PlayStation 1's intro, but more importantly, Fujisawa's beautiful mind. Now, why is the PlayStation 1 intro legendary? What about it compels so many people to comment under videos about how it gives them chills and makes them want to cry? I think it goes far beyond the PlayStation intro just sounding good. I think it's legendary because of what will come after the intro, and that would be the PlayStation 1 games. The PlayStation 1 games that will launch on the console are regarded as some of the best in their respective genres. Crash Bandicoot, Final Fantasy, Metal Gear Solid, Tekken, Tomb Raider, Silent Hill, and Resident Evil. All these games were indicative of what will be experienced on the console from the intro. Things like adventure, excitement, wonder, and even fear. But I'm gonna take it on a much deeper level. When you're a child, it's hard to replicate a first time thing. What I mean is, it's hard to replicate the first time you got a PlayStation 1 for Christmas because you got good grades.
Oh my god! Oh! No! Oh my god! How did you get this? How did you?
It's hard to replicate being stuck on a crash level for so long, only to finally beat it and feel this sense of accomplishment.
Respect! Respect! Yeah!
It's hard to replicate playing Resident Evil for the first time, experiencing your first zombie encounter, and feeling a sense of dread come over you. I can almost guarantee you, the people that rave about the PlayStation 1 have had experiences like these or similar that are priceless. When they see the PlayStation 1 intro, they can't help but to reminisce about those things and be overwhelmed with nostalgia. Fujisawa could have easily put in some tacky simple beats to indicate that the PlayStation was booting up, and I'm sure the games maybe wouldn't have been any better or worse, but he wanted to make something special, and special it was. While he may never get the full recognition he deserves from his contributions to sound design, that wouldn't change the global success that PlayStation 1 would have overall. Oh, and also, I lied. What? There's actually one last part of the interview that Takafumi shared that I think wraps this all up nicely. Sound design has a never-ending charm of exploring the meaning of homage, superiority, and context. In that sense, my experience with the startup sound has been extremely valuable and exciting. If any project that you do is valuable or exciting to you, it should absolutely show in the finished product. Otherwise, why are you doing it? While today's generation may never get their hands on a PlayStation 1 controller, if they go on YouTube and are able to experience the same excitement Fujisawa and countless others have experienced through its intro, I think PlayStation ultimately accomplished what it set out to do, and that's have an impact on gamers' lives. And that to me is why the PlayStation 1 intro is
sensational.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give this video a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Do you think the PlayStation 1 intro is legendary, nostalgic, awesome, or is there any other intro out there that you think is better? Thank you once again. God bless you. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. And don't hate, motivate.
Sensational.